set it up on.
I don't know how you do that.
Just go to that website.
Yeah. So we're live, as you can see. Sorry about the technical difficulties once again.
Wouldn't be us if it wasn't every week we had technical difficulties.
Of course, the computer wanted to start up and do its own thing.
Yeah, great old forced restart.
Here, let me see that.
But it does a great job.
So
check out my new wooden mug. Sal guys.
Yes. John Burke. You guys know who he is.
Ooh, I like that. Moab tastes so good in the afternoon.
Oh shit! I did hit
2 points.
2 points.
Bernie's running a little bit late, but he'll be joining us. We'll Craft Urban. Been here before.
We'll just do the whole Clint Eastwood with
So,
the
Bernie.
chair. So, Bernie, what do you think about the taxes?
He's the invisible man. Hope everybody had a great New Year. Thank you again always for joining us. You guys are awesome for your continued support. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and
We all on.
I don't know if we're on. Can you guys hear us? All right, I guess so.
We won't be monitoring comments for now because of the forced restart on the computer. So, unfortunately,
So we had to use his phone, my phone for Instagram, and the main computer still
there's 2 phones
updating. So hopefully you can hear us pretty good. And sorry about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 other part. So hopefully you join us now with this one. So hopefully your New Year's was good, healthy, wealthy, and wise. I guess what they say.
Yeah. Thank you guys to all for who supported us. You guys were amazing this year, really coming through. We're excited. Last week we got to do pictures with all the groups, our major charities we decided to support this year. Yeah. So we did Paralyzed Veterans Association. We did the Kane County Sheriff Canines.
Kane County for Veterans.
Canines for Veterans.
Canines for Veterans.
Canines for Veterans, which is an awesome organization. We're going to be on their podcast Tuesday. I don't know if I think it was live Tuesday, and then they'll replay it on Comcast this coming Tuesday.
Yes.
Check them out. Give them all the support you can. Those guys, what they do is they train support dogs and service dogs for veterans. What's even more amazing is they pay for all their medical and food care for the life of the dog, which is incredible. You guys have an idea how much it costs, how much service dogs cost. You know how much if you have your own dog, medical, food, what that costs on a yearly basis. To pay for it for these guys, it's just unreal.
Yeah, to take a little more pressure off the veteran who doesn't have to worry about the cost of food, what they're struggling through, and veteran and vet bills.
Yep. And also, we did Operation Support Our Troops, which is another awesome organization that's helped us a lot. They put together great care packages, send them overseas to active vets. People come back, they take care of vets and their families through therapy, counseling, all sorts of opportunities. That's OSOT, OSOT-America.org. Check them out. We did the burn camp for in Illinois, right?
Right.
We did it through the fire department in Elmer. Is it Elmer?
Carroll Stream.
Carroll Stream Fire Department. Scott Naylor was the representative, came out, totally awesome. Gave us a heads up on that charity. So, what a cool thing to set up a camp just for children who've been burned in fires. Get an opportunity to get away, probably spend time with other kids like them.
Yeah.
Not to feel so isolated and they're alienated.
Yeah, it's, especially to be burned and, I couldn't imagine it,
No, I can't imagine how horrible, And, thank God, there's some modern reconstructive stuff. Hopefully they can help those kids out. There's so much reconstructive stuff they can do.
Yeah.
Just what a horrible thing to see a child burned in a fire.
Anybody be burned in a fire.
Anybody.
Yeah, anybody. Oof. So, we can kind of see your comments. Can we see anything from here? If anybody puts anything up? No, we can't.
There's no way I could read it from here anyway.
No,
I'm sorry. I have no glasses today, so there's no way.
Yeah, and I got a little problem with my right eye today. I don't know what it is.
My glasses are only readers.
But then if I'm looking at that, it's my left eye. So.
Speaking of left eye, like I told you, I figured out like a few months ago that I was left eye dominant.
Right.
Like shooting my whole life from the right eye. I saw someone now makes a rifle for right-handed left eye dominant people.
How in
so the rifle stock curves around. So it's got a curved buttstock on it. So when you hold it, it's actually in line. You're on your right shoulder, but the scope ends up in line with your left eye.
So you can do it for even ARs?
Yeah. It's just all I do is they curve the buttstock. I'm like, what a great idea, because like I can't shoot left eye holding right.
It's curved. It's
really hard. It's really hard to left eye and kind of turn your head away from the target to get there. So I was like, that's really cool that it curves around you, so that when you get down, You know, your right eye and left eye. Although you're supposed to learn to shoot with both eyes open. I've never been able to do that.
No, I've never.
All I get is double vision. And it drives me insane. But
Yeah.
I thought, what a cool idea that someone came up with that. I mean, I never knew I was left eye dominant until just like someone was talking about it one day, and I started checking out. I'm like, oh, this is why. I realized I have a much easier time seeing. I was like looking through. I was looking at the site, and I'm like, oh, you can tell by the amount of parallax you have when you close your eyes, right? And parallax is
right.
So how much does your hand move? So if it moves more when you close your right eye versus your left eye, then you can see like that you're probably more left eye dominant. Where the least amount you get the least amount of parallax from is how you tell with dominant eye. And then I just noticed when I looked through the scope, it was much clearer through the left eye than it was through the right eye.
That's just because you're getting old with your right eye.
That's true. Just
It's an old
the right
eye.
Just the right side. Just the right side's getting old. That's why I dress to the left. Keep one part of my body young.
Yes.
No.
So soon we'll have Bernie from Craft Urban here. He said he's running a few minutes late. The door is unlocked, so we'll be able to see him. Just have to jump over 2 wires or low crawl through 2 wires. Depends on how good of shape he's in right now.
I'm just excited because I woke up this morning. It was the first, and COVID's completely gone. Right, because just 2020 was the bad year. So
Yeah,
the 2021,
yeah.
COVID's gone.
Well, not according to what's his name, Biden, right? Because the dark days are still ahead of us, which should be the other way around. The good days should be ahead of us because we got a vaccine and all that good stuff.
Well, now it's saying that like June is like the back to normal time. I don't think it's fat. It seems like they're getting some places are getting the vaccine distributed quickly, some not. I think Trump's plan with the National Guard dispensing it was a pretty good plan.
Dispensing it, but then after it gets dispensed to the states, the governors have to do their own planning and get it to the places where they need to be.
Think about how many National Guard there are. You can stand on a street corner with the National Guard and just drive through, poke you once, come back in 2 weeks for the second one. I don't know what the time is, but
well, that's the one vaccine. There's ones that are poked twice, and other ones you only poked once. And hopefully, you don't get impregnated.
One's 94% effective. So I mean, if they're going to do it, I'm always leery about new medicine when it first comes out. But
would you take it?
I've debated it because it's so short term. Like I feel like they got an automatic pass because I think there's a lot of pressure to come up with a vaccine. So they're gonna be like, "Yep, it's 94%. It's great. There are no side effects. No matter they're gonna say that no matter what." I kind of feel like.
But I mean, they did have to go through the trials. But the trials were with healthy people.
Yes. But at the same time, this is different than what they've ever done with the vaccine before.
Correct.
Because they used RNA rather than giving you the virus and letting your body figure out how to defend against it. This was going through RNA to figure out how to set your body up to recognize it and not attack yourself when you get this.
Right.
Right. So it's a different process than we've all had in the past. So there's a good chance there's less side effects. I still don't know. Still leery about it, but at the same time.
Well, RNA is the outside of the DNA.
It's the messenger. It's what tells the DNA what to do, right? So now you're telling the messenger to get this before your body just doesn't recognize what it is and just starts making so many white blood cells. You're basically destroying yourself. So I don't know. I kind of want just everybody to get back to normal as quick as possible because I feel bad for all the small business people we know and see.
Oh yeah, they're saying
them going out of business. Like
10,000 have gone out of business just from the last shutdown or this current shutdown or something
like that. The risk of the side effects, I kind of feel like it's better than destroying so many people's lives. That a few of us get whatever side effects versus all these people lose their businesses, people lose their livelihoods. I mean, some people are in really bad shape.
They've already used up their savings.
The stupid $600 it's so ignorant that we couldn't agree on $2,000 when we're giving away millions and millions to other countries when people here can't pay their rent, don't have a job, are in danger of getting evicted this month.
Right, because why are we giving out, a couple million or $1 billion for gender studies for a country who gives a shit about it?
Right, and the people here can't, I don't know, I see people homeless here, it still aggravates the hell out of me that anybody here is homeless. And then I see $750 million go overseas. How many homeless people here could you shelter, train, give jobs, give counseling to with $750 million?
Or a good drug program.
Yeah. I mean, they need counseling. They need.
I'm sorry to say, but America first is always.
Well, it just makes me mad. I see how many veterans are struggling, trying to find work, trying to find jobs,
Oh, yeah.
trying to figure out how to get along in this world, and we have millions and millions of dollars to ship to other countries when it could be used here and say, hey, let's take the people who gave us the opportunity to even give money to these countries. Let's take care of them, make sure they're good, and we're good here, and then we can start taking care of the rest of the world. And, you know, if we're going to go into debt, let's go into debt to help our own fix stuff here. I don't know.
Yeah, and plus what, passing the thing to change the name of military bases. I mean, I'm sorry, but Fort Bragg, Fort Story, Camp Lejeune, all those are always going to be the same for me and people in my generation. They're always going to be that type of name. I mean, Fort Leonard Wood. I mean, they're just name of bases. That's all they are. Yes, they might have been Southern generals, but if you throw away the past, we're doomed.
I think the danger is trying to erase the past.
Yes, and tearing down statues still today of even Abraham Lincoln and.
Well, the funny thing is, you know, like
people
I said, I never liked history till I read that quote that said, "Those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it."
Correct.
And at first read it, I didn't even get what it meant. It took me a while to figure it out, and then I started realizing how predictable everything is, and everything that's happening now has already happened in the past. It's going to happen again and again and again. So part of when you start erasing all this history is people won't learn in the future.
Yeah.
Imagine you got rid of all the.
Hey, there he is, the man of the hour.
Hi guys.
What's happening?
Come on in.
You guys see my shit stained mask?
Hop on
Well, here, you're the man in the middle.
How is everybody?
There's Bernie.
There he is.
Everyone happy? It's my reusable mask. I just thought I'd put the shit stain as the absurdity.
Well,
I like it.
you want anything to drink? Coffee, water?
Coffee would be good. I'll take some coffee.
I'll get you a cup.
What do you want? You want medium, dark, caffeine?
Caffeine dark. Whatever you got that's
Dark?
dark.
We'll do dark.
And makes your hair stand up.
We were just babbling about racing history, some of the stuff they're trying to do, changing all the military bases.
Here. Give me
The big
the
bad boy.
The big. So we're on cancel culture.
Kind of about racing
kind of
history.
cancel culture, yes.
We're kind of getting around to like the,
Canceling-
changing everything, erasing everything, and
Canceling all the military bases names and,
my point was just like you can't really try to erase all the history because then that means futures won't understand. And, right? If you burned everything that was Nazi ever and got rid of it all, took it all out of the history books, you're opening up the future for that to happen again.
Yeah, I think
it's still going on.
I think cancel culture is to an extreme of a path to go to say we're so embarrassed by our past or whatever our past is wrong, which it is. But yet, if you cancel it out and you get rid of all these things, then we're not talking about it. It's not there as major forms of education to say this is who we were, this is where we're at, and we have no barometer, we got no path.
Right.
And I'm not that type of person that's suddenly super hypersensitive, and I want to go ahead and do all this kind of stuff. But I do believe we owe it to our past to have that kind of stuff there. To say, this is how fucked up we were, and this is the stupid shit we used to do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like I said, you don't learn if you erase it all. And you don't think a big deal now, but 50 years from now, if you don't know what happened or try to erase it all, future generations won't know, won't learn, and won't be able to prevent the stupid shit again.
And I'd hate to be in that position to have to create the rules and regulations and put all that stuff together.
Well, I mean, think about trying to explain to somebody 100 years from now if there was no evidence of what the Nazis did.
Or slavery.
Yeah, or slavery, and trying to convince somebody that this shit actually happened. It would sound like a fairy tale. Right. So you went across the sea, took people, brought them over here, enslaved them, and you beat the hell out of them and paid them nothing. And no, people wouldn't do that. And you have to be like, no, it went on for hundreds of years. No, there's no way.
There's nothing in the history books.
Right. How could that happen? No one would ever do that. So you have to explain that, and they would be, no, I don't believe it. But if you leave some history and some proof of it, and say, yeah, this is the horrible shit, right, that happened. I think like the most haunting picture I've ever seen is when they show pictures of Auschwitz and they show where they kept all the shoes. You walk into a room, it's all glass walls on each side, and it's just the piles of shoes from all the people they killed. And you can't get the magnitude of it until you see that. Right? Imagine if you took all the slaves and you just put all their names in one list or buried them all in one grave somewhere, and you saw, it'd be so overwhelming. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this is right.
Yeah.
So you can't erase and make that stuff go away. You have to learn from it.
And we owe American history, to have chapters that talk about racism, to have chapters that talk about the Holocaust, to have chapters to talk about how, this is what we did and this is how we participated and this is how we made the world a better place and we learn from our mistakes.
Correct.
And that is the most important part, recognizing the faults of humanity and changing the world.
So, horrible stuff has happened in wars, but we don't erase that. We memorialize it. Right, not just for heroes, but when you go to, like, the Vietnam Wall, God, we were in Sturgis, and they had the traveling wall there.
Oh, that was very emotional.
One of the things that was really hard is you sit there and look at the wall, and you look at what the time period is. And it's 3 months. You don't realize, you think you're looking at the big blocks, because some are like a year, then you look at one, it's like 3 months, and it takes up like 3 sections of that wall, and we're looking, and it's like, it's overwhelming to stand there, and you're looking at all the names. There's so many sometimes in just 3 months. You're like, how man? These are all just young kids sending over there, and it's like sending people to the slaughter. You're like, how you can't overcome.
Well, even with that traveling wall too, they had the ones from Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, that was awesome. So now the new one, which was awesome to see that because it hasn't been anything for a while. Then to see that, and you start. The funny thing is when I think about like Desert Storm, right back in the 90s when we first went, it was like. Nobody died. Like we just sat back and just shot their scuds out of the air, and maybe a couple guys got from friendly fire. That's all I remember from the news reporting. Then you start to see the names. You're like, shit, we lost a lot of people there. And you see everyone. We're like, the news doesn't report that. It's like at the time, it's we were invincible. Nobody died. Everything was great. Then you start to see these kids' names over and over on the wall. You start to realize these are parents and families who are losing loved ones who made this ultimate sacrifice to go and fight. So it's important to recognize and know that they're there. Right?
Yeah. So, Bernie, how's the restaurant doing?
Have you guys ever cut yourself and then you put lemon juice on it?
Yes.
So imagine having a cut all over your body and someone's pouring lemon juice all over your body.
Yeah.
That's what the restaurant industry is right now.
So that's what we were talking about before you got here was a little about like taking the vaccine. One of the points I made is like, there might be side effects, but it might be later, but I feel so bad that there's so many businesses dying and killing from this that maybe it's worth a few people having side effects to save the rest of the people who are losing their livelihoods, their businesses that are getting crushed.
It's savings.
And your kids all have eyes, 10 fingers, and toes, right? Yours too. And you guys all got the Desert Storm vaccinations where they didn't know what was in those vaccinations, and you guys are getting lined up and getting shots after shots after shots. And you guys are fine.
I didn't get him. I didn't serve, so you got him.
I got him, and I'm fine. Yeah, just a little twitch. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, we can say what we want to say. It's like, I fucking do it. If it's going to create some form of normalcy.
Yeah.
But then you start looking at the numbers, and this is where we can spend an entire podcast on the bullshit of the numbers.
Well, are you part of the, with Foxfire?
No, because I don't have that much money that I could give to the lawyer, and the lawyer was asking for like $3,000 up front as a retainer, and I'm like, go pound salt, And at the end of the day, this is what his case got thrown out because they couldn't prove that the governor was doing it out of malicious intent. So they gave him X number of weeks, and they couldn't come up with it, so it got thrown out. At the end of the day, right now, read the newspapers. Everything is geared towards vilifying restaurants, and everything that happens is now, this person got sick, this restaurant. Chicago is using their police department as an extension to enforce this COVID policy, which I think is completely backwards, and it's dumb. But yet, we can still go to the mall with thousands of people. Don't tell me that they got better air handling systems. People, shut up.
I went to Woodfield at Christmas time, like 2 days before Christmas.
Right?
We were shoulder to shoulder. There was no separation. You had to wear a mask. But then people had to... So the funny thing was you have to wait in line outside the store to go in. They were trying to limit the people going in. However, everybody standing in line is standing nut to butt in the line. And then this line here is right next to the others because Apple has a huge line, right? So it wraps around the mall. And those people all standing next to the other people, right next to them, shoulder to shoulder, in line.
Yep.
And the mall is just packed with people where you can't move like Woodfield always is. And
Just let them in.
like there's no social distancing here. What's the difference? Like, so I can come here, but I can't go to a restaurant and sit apart from people. Like the restaurants I've gone to that are open, in Crystal Lake, there's a bunch that are fighting against it, and they're spaced apart. The nearest table is 12 feet away. There's big dividers in between. Like we're blocked off. I'm like, so if they can do this, we've been eating those restaurants since COVID. We haven't stopped going, so we're trying to patronize the restaurants who are staying open, try to help, whatever we can. We've been fine. So why can't they do that everywhere with all the restaurants? Be like, people are smart to be like, okay, so we'll distance them. I tell you the truth is, what we're hoping is after this COVID shit's done, that the restaurants don't change back. We go sit in a booth. It's all plexiglassed off by ourselves. It's nice. It's quiet. We like the separation better than we ever had before. It may not look as nice.
Well, we need the volume.
Yeah, they need the volume.
Yeah, and that's where we're at. The public is so afraid to come into restaurants because of what's the people are saying in the newspaper,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
what the message is by the government. And so even though you have people that are still doing inside dining, they're only at 30%.
Oh yeah.
And you can't pay your bills in 30% because the local government's not giving you any discounts. You're lucky if your landlord's like, sure, pay me what you can on a percentage.
Yeah.
There is no help whatsoever because people think you can survive through this.
Well, the thing is coming to is like, what about all the servers and bartenders?
Mm-hmm.
There's not like they can. Oh, if this place is closed, well, I'll go to the run next. There's no other job opportunities there.
No.
So you're gonna kill that whole industry, and all those people are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the only ones that are left, McDonald's,
yeah,
Portillo's, and my friends that are in the restaurant industry, that I've known, more power to them. They're doing what they got to do to survive, which is fantastic. But, I just saw a good friend of mine in Chicago he has a nice patio, and he just built walls up in his patio because it falls within the guidelines by the government, the CDC, but he built an inside-outside space, and he's allowed to do that, which is fine. But the absurdity.
right, it's no different.
Like, we're spending tens of thousands of dollars just for the installation was probably $20,000.
Yeah.
Another bar that's in Geneva, and they did a great job. It's truly an outdoor space. Preservation, they're outdoor. It's gas-fired heaters in every place that you sit. You have the heater blowing on you, so you're warm, and there's no walls that are put up, so you can't, so it's not like an inside-outside restaurant. It's truly an outside patio.
Right.
The plus side is people are going to get so used to sitting outside, which is great. We were always so high maintenance in Chicago. It's like, it's not a perfect temperature. I don't want to sit outside. Now, I think people are just going to be cool with sitting outside when it's not super warm, and it's going to help our entire industry. We're just going to be more prone to having that outside patio type service and to-go food, which I think everyone's done a great job with.
Well, it's good. And one thing I really like, it's really kind of forced everybody to step up their online presence.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the restaurants we used to go to, like, it's now easier than ever to order from them. What it used to be kind of a pain in the butt, where like picking up food, we didn't often because they're kind of hassle. Someone had to answer the phone, be put on hold 3-4 times. Like they were busy, so you felt bad. Like now it's like online, they're on top of it, man. Like orders made, like you show up. They say it's 15 minutes. Show up at 15 minutes because it's gonna be ready to go. It's like they've improved. Like their menu's better online now. So many restaurants didn't even used to have their menu online.
Yep. Yeah.
You're like, I can't find their menu. Like, if you don't know what we got, don't order. It's like now they all have online menus. They've streamlined their online process. I mean, it forced us to be better at online and make our online stuff. That's why we started this podcast, was because of this.
Yeah, huge.
Right.
It's going to change that footprint, I think, for the spring and summer. And I tell people, if you've done a great job with online to-go ordering, that's extra 10% revenue that you're going to have next year that you didn't have. And they're like, oh, that's a great way to look at it. So keep it up, because once you do it enough times, it just becomes routine.
Yeah. I mean, they're even better at just like preparing orders to go.
Yeah.
Like it used to be like, it would be like hodgepodge of stuff. Like some stuff would be wrapped. Like like even they're even better at accuracy now too. Like we used to pick up from one restaurant all the time we ate at, and like it was just guaranteed when we got home. There'd be like 3 things missing. Call them back, make a trip. Now it's like, man, it's like double checked, rechecked, and it's all packed super nice now. It travels well now, or didn't before. So,
well, how are you doing with like how you know how to prepare for the week or whatever you order food?
We're systems. So everything that we have in place is all based on, you have a spreadsheet that you enter your product mix in, and that tells you what the items you're selling on a daily basis. And then From there, we have prep lists that have spreadsheets attached to it where you inventory, this is what I prepped, this is what I have left, so this is the par. So we're able to minimize the amount of waste. So it's down, we have it down to an exact science.
Has business has it reached some level of consistency?
It's yes. So
because that's gotta be hard when you don't have the consistency. If it's up and down, planning for inventory, right?
yeah, you can look, and I can take that 30% because we're at 30% revenue. So I can take 30%, look at last year's numbers because we're all creatures of habit, and just take 30% of that, and it's right on. So it helps, I mean, we got a good landlord who's, pay what you can. He's not freaking out. And
Think about that. If someone said right now for the next year you got to live on 30% of what your paycheck is normally. If you don't want a business, think about that happening to you right now. I know some people have 0% of their paycheck coming, they're unemployment, but think about if you are employed, someone said for the next year you have to live on 30% of what you normally bring home. Could you do it? I couldn't.
No, you couldn't really make a payment or nothing.
I couldn't chop 70% off right now. There's no way.
And it's January, you're gonna see all the restaurants close down. Don't panic. All the restaurants are smart. The ones that are still open are doing a great job. We're all gonna close down because it's a slow time of the year, and that doesn't.
Yep,
it makes no sense for us to stay open, and it's just a way to minimize the bleeding because we have to be ready for when it gets warmer out. And so you got to hold on to the amount of cash you have in the bank.
Wow.
Are you guys going to be? Are most of them going to be reopened during Valentine's Day?
Yep.
Is that the plan? Kind of like the universal plan, shut down and then open for Valentine's?
Well, you got one more week of business, and then when all the kids go back to college and school, we'll slow down. So we're all going to go shut the restaurant down. Everyone's going to go on vacation, do whatever for a few weeks. Those that don't want to come back because we don't have hours for them, we tell them go on unemployment, take advantage of the benefit that they've paid for. It's not milking the system. It's
right.
They've paid into
You paid in, you earned it.
Yeah. So take care of that, and then those that are comfortable to come back, they come back. We give them the hours. Those that aren't, we say okay, you stay home until you feel comfortable, and your job's always here. And we'll be ready.
So when is that? Is it normally start at Valentine's Day?
End of January, the beginning of February, first week. Everything slowly starts.
And then is Easter usually another big hit?
Yep.
So once after Easter, does it kind of just start picking back up the whole?
It does. You got spring break, and then you got a couple weeks of slowing down.
Forget about that.
And then you get that push right before Memorial Day. So that's really good. Then everyone goes on vacation, so you're dead for a few weeks, and then it picks back up in the summer. And the summer is when all the restaurants out here just...
Well, especially where you're downtown, like that's everybody's just flooding the downtown. Yep. And then if Swedish Days actually happens this year, that's got to be big for you guys too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of... I'm hoping that, Geneva will do Swedish Days a little bit different than they've done it in the past, because it didn't really make sense in how they did it. Where you had hot dog vendors on the street that you couldn't apply to sell the hot dogs because you're a for-profit, so I went to a non-for-profit. And so they're selling food in front of your restaurant, so you're losing revenue. So it just became this haphazard, and then the people that were in charge of it years ago, you can tell they were taking care of friends, because, they're given certain food service places. It's like, you guys are crazy. This is supposed to be for the whole town. Everyone got to make money, and we still got to pay bills, whether we're a non-for-profit or profit.
Yeah, because it should be more or less like locals, right? People that...
It should be all about supporting the local business, right? The first people that should have dibs on any space, especially in front of your own restaurant, is that business that pays taxes here all year, employs people here all year, right? Pays rent here all year, makes the economy move in this town, right?
All right.
Not some outside vendor who doesn't pay taxes or support this place. I mean, I get charities have to have a place to go and make money too, but put them in a place where he's not interfering with the local businesses.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it did make sense that you have a business that's located on Randall Road in Geneva Commons that has a presence on the main strip, but we can't have a presence on the main strip.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
well, it's already Randall Road who's killing downtown. Just invite him in and give him the same space.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, they could put a place over here off to the side where everybody who's not part of the downtown can go sell it, but everybody who has a place... Imagine someone set up on our parking lot to sell coffee during, Batavia Festival. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. We're all about charity, but get the fuck out of our parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, you got I don't know how corn on the cob or corn dogs or fried donuts have anything to do with Swedish food, but that's That's just me.
I understand the Lions. They've been around, and they're kind of off to the corner spot, aren't they? They're not in front of you. They're kind of off a little bit. I can't remember who was in front of you last a couple of years ago.
I don't know. All I know is I saw a big hot dog stand. It's like, what are you doing?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. And then there was a donut place located in front of the pastry shop.
Was there?
Yeah. And an ice cream thing right down
Right.
the street.
Certainly shouldn't be
right next to
competition.
right next to the
Shouldn't be your competitor in front of your business that you pay for all year long.
Yeah.
Right?
So they do need to kind of revamp.
Make a
And
section,
it's just like
make
how
a section away from the businesses. You want to go visit these other charities? Here you go. Have your own section, but the space in front of your business should be yours first. You should have first dibs on it to go out there.
Well,
and
it's
we're
just-
not going to put a competitor in front of you.
just like the American Legion, they always had beer ever since I remember as a kid. Right? You go there, that's the beer garden. Then all of a sudden, the chamber thought, "Hey, how smart would it be for us to make our own
Beer garden.
well, yeah, because this beer garden's making a lot of money, so let's get our own money.
right?" I
And then you compete against your own people who are trying to make the event work.
right, trying to help support the.
This is why festivals stop happening, for this exact reason. What happens is, so I said when I was a kid, our family business, we used to travel around the whole area here to festivals, and we'd see festivals start out small. We'd keep going back and grow, get bigger, better. It was like, oh, it's getting rich. Then all of a sudden it'd be done. You're like, what the hell happened? Well, because everybody got greedy. They saw all these local businesses all of a sudden start making money. Then the charities, they all wanted to compete. And the money got too much where they compete. And then the local business said, well, screw you, then we're not going to participate. And they'd shut down. And they'd be like, well, now we don't have a festival. We just have local. And people who live in the town would be like, well, if it's not going to support the local businesses, we're not going to go.
Yeah.
And then what would happen is, they're like, well, what's happening? Our festival's going away. And they're like, so what happens? You cause a revolt of the businesses that are the ones who support it.
Yeah. It's the same thing happened with, Taste of Chicago. And, I was part of Chicago Gourmet in Chicago during the very first inception, where people try to do what they can, that are in charge of it, but they lose sight, because they get so busy, they put other people to make those decision-making processes. And you can't really stop nepotism from happening,
Right.
But it does.
Yep.
Taste of Chicago, you would have 20 turkey leg vendors. It's like, how is that Taste of Chicago?
Right. Right. Turkey. That's why I think of Chicago. I always think turkey
legs. Yeah.
So I'm going here for turkey legs.
Yeah, and turkey leg, all this kind of stuff, and it wasn't really curated right, and then it got really bad with the violence, and the police department was like, we're not part of this anymore.
Yeah, but what happens is it's money, right? Because they say, like, if we do this a little bit, we can have these 20 vendors. They have nothing to do with Chicago, but they'll bring us a lot of money.
Right.
Yes. They start saying yes to everything, and you start just moving away and selling out, basically, and cheapening the festival to a point where the people who used to come every year are like, no, I'm not going to go that. It's not what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are we going down? Because we destroyed it from the inside.
If they did a Swedish Days where it promotes the local businesses and restaurants to go into and have a little opening, right, by the
Isn't that the whole point of the festival, is to bring people to say, hey, come experience what's here in the
Geneva
city.
is, right.
Come learn about Geneva. It brings some outside revenue in. It gets some revenue from the current residents, too, to get them to stimulate them to come spend some money down there. I
Try
lived in
different
Geneva.
ones.
I lived in Geneva for 25 some years. I rarely shopped on 3rd Street. Right?
Right.
But with Swedish Days, we'd go down. I'd end up shopping at all the shops down there, spending money down there. So it stimulated me to come down and spend money downtown. Whereas normally I wouldn't. So it's a good thing for that. But it brings some other outside. But it's promoting, hey, this is what Geneva's all about. Not, hey, look, we got this hot dog vendor from Ohio. Look, yeah,
I mean, and I get it. Like, if it's a non-for-profit, they got to make money. That's what they use for their coffers, which is fine. But at the end of the day, they still are they're still a for-profit business because people got to get paid. So, we can get into the economics of that on a different day. But I think you could just look at it and say, hey, here's a retail location that sells clothes. So I'm going to put that hot dog vendor, make sure they're not 200 feet or 300 feet from a brick and mortar restaurant.
Right.
So it could just be curated better, not to financially impact those that pay a lot of taxes and pay an exorbitant amount of rent. And it just, that kind of stuff is, I think, could be thought out a little bit better so it makes more sense. And not shut down streets that you depend on for traffic flow. Like
the funny thing is, though, it's not just here. So we do a lot of shows all around still, and usually they're ran pretty poorly. They're just structure-wise, because most of the time it's a lot of volunteers or people who don't have like a regular job. They're from the chamber. Usually they have like their job at the chamber. Then they take on the festival by themselves. Most chambers are very small, so it's like 1 or 2 people who have to do all this, and they're like, I think they just get to the point where like, yeah, just stick them somewhere. So because I got to do these 12 other things, right? So it's like, yeah, just stick. So it's unfair to them too. But and then they pick up a couple volunteers here or there who just they don't know, they don't plan, they don't think about that. They just get it done, right?
And what I learned with Chicago Gourmet, you can't do it. The first couple of years, everyone was trying to do it. Finally, at some point, you just hire someone to be the coordinator and put the whole thing together.
Yep.
And they get a percentage from it.
Yep.
So there's no nepotism, there's no playing favorites. It's that person's job, it's the company's job. Put all that stuff together, present it to you as the board. You look at it and say, that makes sense. Excellent. Everything's in numbers.
I think these things are a bigger job than people realize. Though.
Oh yeah.
It takes a certain level of skill. Like it's not just yesterday I was bagging groceries, so now I'm going to come and plan a whole festival.
Yeah.
Right? It takes someone of higher skill. The hard part is it's hard to get people of that level for free. Unless you're paying them to do something most places can't afford. They're barely getting through. So you can't always afford to go hire this great expert consultant to come in and straight up your festival.
Well, okay, you have Swedish Days, and you have
Festival of the Vine.
Festival of the Vine, right? Where they have when we first started, it was mostly about wine tasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very few food vendors,
Yep.
and now it's become a whole tent full of food vendors locally.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, right? They're all local, right?
And
Try a little bit.
And I think that could be done where it's the whole street as opposed to a parking lot that's across.
A tent that you can't walk around and can't get through.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah.
You can't even get down the street.
Well,
There's
remember,
cars
it
parked
first used
there.
to be in the
Ace Hardware parking lot.
Ace Hardware parking lot.
But it was better, like, there's a bigger, but there was no room to move. Like, you can't go around, like, there's, like, that's 4th Street's an empty street, usually on a Saturday or Sunday. Like, there's plenty of parking lots all over the city where they could go set it up to make plenty of room to make it comfortable. Like, it was good, but it's like, you couldn't even move around the one side of the tent. You're like, you're shoulder to shoulder trying to get by. I'm like,
and especially with kids and strollers and dogs all over the place, stuff.
Yeah, there's plenty of space in the town where they could have found some parking lot to set it up in where it's comfortable and a lot of people can come and make it better.
Or you just shut down 3rd Street. Shut down 3rd Street from Roosevelt all the way down to the train station.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's all enclosed. There you go.
Well, I'm surprised 3rd Street hasn't become already a no driving street. I like when they shut down the main street. Like, so they started doing by me in Algonquin, like they bricked off the whole street. Now they redid the whole thing. It's bricked it off. You can park on the sides, but it's a walk. It's mainly for walkers down the middle of the street. It makes it much nicer to go down there now. Where it used to be a super busy street, like you couldn't cross anywhere. Now you can cross anywhere. Because some of the businesses you'd be parked on this side, you had to go all the way down here to get across, to come around. Because it was dangerous to walk across because it was blindsided because the cars were parked there. Just like it is in Geneva, like all the diagonal parking on on State Street. Like, if you went across the middle of State Street, you're a good chance you're going to get hit by a car.
But you play fogger,
right? Because you got four lanes of traffic moving, and it's a lot of blind spots. So down there, what they did is they shut it down. It's all brick. Now you walk.
No, I think that's a good idea about moving Festival of the Vine on 3rd and closing it down.
Yeah, why not? What great traffic needs to get down 3rd Street on Saturday?
Saturday, Sunday, right? So it would 2 days, 3 days.
It would bring shoppers right there to go walk, and again, if you bring me to 3rd Street, I'll end up going to the shops, spending money. I won't normally go during the week, but if it's on a festival, I'm there and the stores are open. We'll eat. We'll go start walking through the shops.
Plus plenty of room.
Yeah.
There you go. I think
make enough tables to sit.
I think you guys got to put together your festival consulting firm next.
Well, we'll pay you for it.
Might as well have 6 jobs.
Yeah.
Might as well have 6 jobs.
You're the one who came up with the idea of 3rd Street.
There you go. All right, so I'd say
Craft Urban Festival of the Summer. Craft Urban Summer Festival. Shut down 3rd Street. We'll sponsor it with you.
I want to bring back Mr. International Leather. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, then. Chaps out. Bring back your chaps on 3rd Street.
I just want to see Sal and his bottomless.
Assless chaps on 3rd Street.
On 3rd.
Today I see assless chaps on 3rd Street.
He got it from Short and Wide and the Husky side.
That would be awesome. If you do that to 3rd Street in Geneva.
As long as I can wear a thong.
There you go. So, what are you guys foreseeing in the future? What do you guys see happening in the spring? What do you guys see happening in the summer?
It's all going to go away, and everything's going to be great.
For us, well, hopefully the events come back, and we can go out and start meeting more people and traveling more. Because I mean,
the best part of what we do is getting to be out in the world, meeting people, go up, tell us their stories, get to talk to them. It's the coolest thing ever. And I miss that the most. Like, we don't get to I mean, it's been awesome. People have been doing a great job switching from the shows to come to the store. That's been awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
But when we're out in the world, We get to meet all these different veterans who come up and tell us their story about where they were. We get to meet a lot of foreign veterans who come up and tell us some stuff. Like I said, the one thing that kind of blew my mind is we're at one show up in McHenry, and this guy came up and he was in a concentration camp in Bosnia.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago. I had no idea.
The Bosnian.
Right, I had no idea that there was concentration camps in Bosnia. And he's telling her how horrible it was. It was like worse than like some of the stuff they went through in some of the camps during World War II. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like he's like the torture was So, being here in the United States, you're ignorant to a lot of that stuff, and so you get to meet those people and find out some of the shit that's really going on. That's cool. And we get to like meet a lot of people from other organizations.
Okay.
Basically, every charity we've connected with, we went out. It's going on forever. We met him. We met him out at a show
I
somewhere.
had some beans. Sorry.
So like Horses for Heroes, we met. Operation Support Our Troops, one of our big ones we met through doing events out there in the world.
Yeah.
And so that was what made it cool for us, is to go meet these people, which we wouldn't normally have met them.
Yeah, we're not meeting as many people now. You do miss that interaction.
Yeah, that part sucks.
You know, we had a little bit of it in the summer, and I know all the restaurants did because we were all doing pop-ups at different breweries and, you know, doing takeovers, so we got a chance to, like, interact with those people and meet new people and learn stories. Now it's like, I can't talk to you because of the 6 degrees of COVID tracing, you know, so.
How about like places like Penrose and those other breweries? Have they been pretty hit hard too, or?
Yeah, they're hit just as hard. You know, the when the new restrictions came in at the end of October, you know, we were scrambling, and so you just forget everything. And you know, we had a pop-up scheduled for D&G Brewery out in St. Charles, you know, with Tom, and then we completely spaced it, and we're like, you know, bro, we're just scrambling, you know, and I'm sorry. Some of them are doing pretty good, you know, but pretty good's relative.
Right.
You know, we're all suffering. You know, it's great when I drive by Penrose and I see they got tents up there. They got people in the tents and it's freezing out and people are coming buying their beer. You know, that kind of stuff I love. I love seeing that kind of stuff because we're all surviving.
Yeah.
And you got people that are passionate about their stuff, you know. But I tell people, this happened before in history.
Yep.
You know, like it happened in 1919.
Yep.
You had the 20s. You had Prohibition. We'll survive. We're resilient.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to make our way through it. And you know, I'm saying the summer, 2021, festivals will start, restaurants.
So I'm saying we're like, you know, I like the June timeline. Like by June, like that would be awesome if like in June the world turns back on and goes back to normal. It would be so great to
get back into Swedish days.
I just love to see businesses start to open up again and be able to survive, and people get work again and go back.
But this will also create new businesses for the ones that went out.
Yeah, the ones that close now, you know, I would say there's a high percentage they were already going to close.
Yep.
And this was just their golden ticket to say, I can get out and not be penalized. I'm out.
Well, it's kind of like what a recession does with some of the dinosaurs, right? It sucks to see a business go out, but sometimes there's a business that refuses to change, refuses to modernize, and they hold this percentage of market share. There's these new businesses come up who are ready to make things better, but they're fighting for that market share. And then finally it just kills off that dinosaur, and that business goes out to 5 or 6 other businesses. It makes them prosper. They're employing more people than the guy for 20 years did, right? They're come up with new innovation. They're going to continue to grow, where the dinosaur is never going to grow again. They're going to stay there until they just dwindle and die. Or if you give that business it gives them the capital to grow and flourish and hire more people and become better, bigger things. So every once in a while, you just have to kill the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks to watch them go, but sometimes it's good.
And we have to pay attention to what we vote for, because you know there's different things that happen on local, you know, your local ballot that you don't pay attention to.
Oh.
You know, right now we got the minimum wage, so by 2025 we have to be at $15 an hour minimum wage. So everyone gets a pay raise, you know, this January, which is, you know, it's fine. I'm not poo-pooing that, but I think that should only apply to big businesses that are traded on the stock market that are only paying people $9 an hour.
Well, I do like the one thing now. They finally put something in place that made sense. Is your lowest paid person cannot make less than, 100 times what your CEO makes.
But that applies towards big business.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I think that's a great thing. So now, like, you don't have one guy making $20 million and another guy making $20,000. You can't do that anymore.
Exactly.
So they pull that back. So, I mean, I'm all about being an entrepreneur and business being successful, but the liberal in me understands that nobody needs to make $30 million a year while some of their employees are only making 20. You can make $29 million a year. Take that million, spread it up among some of the lower employees to raise everybody's quality of life. And the guy who went from 30 to 29 will still be okay. Even if he went down to 20, he would still be okay. and you could hire these other people or give them a better quality of life so they could actually live. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think, you got to kind of pay attention to that kind of shit. However, with the little business, with all of us who applied for PPP, there was large-scale corporations that were making, not large, let me just rephrase that. Businesses that would only have maybe 10 or 15 employees were grossing $10 million to $20 million a year in revenue. So that, when you hear that ratio, that means it's an office. It means they're doing something that has a high profitability, huge flow through, right? Mm-hmm. They would automatically apply for the PPP. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that they needed it, but they're like, hey, it's out there.
Right, it's out there. Why not get it?
We got to take advantage of it. I think we have to do a better job at filtering things that apply to small independent business. What is that?
Correct.
Right.
The large corporations that are represented by the lobbyists on Capitol Hill, and how the shit show just trickles down and everyone. Because if I was making, $100 million a year and I said, you know what, I'm paying myself $30 million, I would hate for a government to come in and say, you can't pay yourself $30 million.
Yes. So that's the part. So I like the idea, but at the same time, you have to monitor because you're creeping towards socialism, right?
Yeah.
And the rule is always give an inch, right? Then you take a mile. That's what our government does. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So you're setting precedents when you actually do that, which you have to be alert to, right? You're saying, yeah, it's okay for you to tell me as the owner of my company how much I can make. Mm-hmm. So now there's no limit on that. Mm-hmm. To really start saying, well, you can't make this at all. And it's a move towards socialism, and you're whacking away at your personal rights within your business.
Yeah. And I think we have a responsibility, because if you have, as a business, if you're traded on the stock market, you have a fiduciary responsibility to increase and show a level of profitability. Otherwise, you're kicked out because you broke the rules and all this.
Yep.
And I think you have to have that same that kind of goes towards the ethics side as well. Like we got to figure it out to do a better job with ethics, because that gray shade that these white collar business people figure out, I mean, yeah, it's great, but
again, that's another double-edged sword, though, right? Because if you start imposing morality, which is basically what you're trying to do when you start putting right, you're trying to impose morality, right? The problem is not everybody's morality is the same.
Exactly.
Right? It's from what perspective, right? So that's always a tough part, right? It's such a hard double-edged sword. But then, right, there's always the gray that everybody will play in, right? And there's different rules for different people, which is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a senator, you can commit all the crimes you want. You face nothing. You get called to Congress, you get embarrassed on TV for 10 minutes, and then you never have to go to jail or anything. Where the same thing that somebody else commits, you're in jail for your life. So it's the same way in business, right? All the lobbyists control what happens. So you have to figure out how to stop lobbying. But the people who have to stop lobbying are the people who are benefiting from lobbying. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a congressman, a congressperson, or a senator, your government pay is shit. It's when you get on the committees where you make a lot of money, right? You're on Power Energy. Well, you get $350,000 a year for being on that committee. But where does that money come from? It comes from lobbyist groups who fund those committees, basically, and fund the research. And right, it's Exxon who gives $10 billion to the Power and Energy Committee to help them come to the seminar in the Caribbean to understand coal.
Did you guys see the documentary? I think it was on Netflix, called The Swamp.
Yeah.
And that's really eye-opening.
Yeah.
So they're two Republican congressmen. Both are a little, I would say, polar opposite. And you see, one of them born and raised in the political system, doing everything he can, and lives on Capitol Hill, small little room, and they expose or just bring to light what they have to do as a congressman. And it's not so much about working to make the laws. It's about how much money that they can solicit for donations for the party. That they have to spend X number of days, like, how much money did you raise for the coffers? And you have that expectation, which is bullshit, because now it's big business.
This is what I learned is this is what I never knew really what a whip did, and now this is basically what they do. As the majority whip, the minority whip is they get on your ass and say you go out there and raise funds and you better vote this way, right? That's what they do. Yeah, that's what they are. They're there to make sure that you vote along party lines and you're accomplishing what the party needs to accomplish these goals and go raise this money.
Exactly.
So when they raise it up to 15, how's that going to affect your business?
What's going to happen? The increase already is changing your menu price per product. So we're seeing it all the way on the back end from the suppliers because they're affected by it as well. So all the pricing is going to slowly increase, and that people are going to have to get used to. You know, you're going to have to get used to. I mean, right now you go to that. What's the name of that crappy burger place on Randall and Roosevelt?
Wahlburgers?
Yeah, Wahlburgers. That big crappy burger place. So, you know, $12 for a burger and fries.
Right.
And there's a
I've never
line
been
out the
there.
door. Just because there's a hope that maybe they can see dining, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really a bad quality, lowest.
I'm already seeing, though, the prices increasing, though. So, like, there's like a little diner we go to. It's funny, 4 of us went. They used to be like a $30 meal.
Yep.
For 4 of us to go, like, my 2 kids and me and my wife, right? It'd be like $35. We went the other night, and it was $55 for, like, us, you know, and then, like, I'm like, geez. So it's already gone to, like, so even, like, my kids used to spend, you know, used to be like $8-9 for kids. Now they're 12, 13 already, so they're already planning for these increases. And plus, COVID's kicked their ass, so I get it. You gotta make whatever money you can for the little bit of traffic you get. So I have no problem supporting them, right?
Gloves are $120, $140 a case.
Yep.
So they used to be $4 a box. Now they're $12 a box.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the chemicals are through the roof. Toilet paper's through the roof, and there's no
Mhm.
rhyme or reason for it. And so we have to keep our profitability, and it's not trying to squeeze, but we're looked at as the dirty prostitute. Whereas you go get your cell phone, you have all these million line items that you just blindly signed, and you're like, okay, go ahead. But then as soon as we do that in the restaurant industry, people are scrutinizing us for $2.
Right.
Wait a minute, your cell phone's $300, and you're doing this and this and this, and you don't ask any questions over it. But here we are, a small business.
Question over a $2.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like a service fee. Well, you know, it's for the staff. It's to-go orders. It's a service fee. That's what it stands for.
Right.
We're not trying to rob from you, but you're going to see all those prices just increase. You know, it's going to level out.
Yeah.
And-
So what's going to change with servers pay?
Well, the whole servers pay thing is a misnomer of bullshit. So with servers, yes, they make $4.95, which is your minimum wage for typical employees. On an average, servers out here can make over $40,000 a year.
Right.
They only work X number of hours. They take the most amount of shit. They have to. They're a psychiatrist, a therapist, a doctor, a bouncer, a boxer. You know, like all this kind of
Right.
stuff. And within that 4 hours that they work, if they create this awesome experience, they can walk with a lot of money, and they do. And that's fantastic because you have a lot of people who are going to college who need to make quick cash. You have moms who are trying to make ends meet. They can get away from their kids for 4 hours a day,
Right.
come make some good cash.
Right.
Boom.
In a short period of time, you can go make a lot of money quickly.
Exactly. You get rid of that typical wage, and now you instill that socialist system,
Yep.
which I'm okay with certain socialist programs. But now it becomes this flat line. Well, guess what? That mom that was able to work for a couple weeks and has this great relationship with our business, she can come or he can come, work during the holiday season, boom, bills are paid, kids have a great Christmas, put a little money aside, take the pressure off the family. Now with that new system, everything's flat.
So servers are going to be non-tippable?
That's what it'll be, a non-tippable wage.
It'll be 15?
Yep.
Oh, that's bullshit.
So all the tips go in, and then we have to have a
Oh.
line. We have to have a line item, and that those tips go all towards payroll.
But then do you have to make up the difference? Like if it's short, if the tips are short?
It's you still tip however you want. People will stop tipping 18%, 20%. That percentage will go
Right,
down.
because they're seeing this person's now making
Doesn't matter.
15.
I'm not tipping this person. I'm just paying their hourly wage.
Exactly.
It's not. I'm not tipping you because you were awesome. I'm just tipping the restaurant to help pay your wage.
Exactly. And so then there becomes that domino effect. So now you're paying servers $15 an hour. You got a kid that graduated culinary school, spent $40,000 in his education. You got to end up paying him $20 an hour, which is fine. You know, he's a tradesman or she's a tradesman.
Right.
So you're just going to see this weird shift of, you know,
What I'm worried about is that's going to make service suck.
it's going to make everything suck.
Because I have no reason to go above and beyond. Because no matter what, I make the same. And I know that no matter what I do for you, you're not going to give me any more because you
It's
can't.
going to go towards the house.
You can't.
Well, and we can develop pool structures. So we could we can do it where it's all based on a percentage. There's other different loopholes that we can work
I guess
with.
they do that at casinos, right? They pool and then split on shifts. They split per shift.
With casinos, I couldn't answer. I know that there's several restaurants throughout the United States that do that. And when you create that line item, that service fee does go to the employee. We, by tracking it that way, we're operating on an ethical standard. And I'm not saying the gray shade of someone who's like, well, I've hit my max percentage, so the rest is going to go in my pocket. I'm going under the perfect world saying, through that line item of service fee, some days when it's really busy, it becomes a sliding scale. Some people will make more because that's how much gratuity that they've worked at to generate. So it's up to the business owner to create the collective mindset to teach people how to do that to create the
So now it adds another line item for you to account now, right? Now you gotta manage all this tipping pool, right? So at the end of the month, so are you gonna pay that above the 15 or the 15 comes out of that?
I would do that entire service fee would go all towards the staff. So it becomes
so they can make more than $15
exactly.
an hour.
Okay.
Well, now here's where you're gonna get the animosity, right? The guy from college who's in the kitchen working, he makes 15. If he's not getting part of the tips, he's making less than the servers out there who just came in to pick up a shift at some places.
The tip pool would go to the entire front and back of the house staff.
Oh, that's cool then.
And then that would also go towards benefits.
My guess is going to be some restaurants though where the cooks don't get a share. This guy who paid for culinary school is in the back busting his ass to make. He's a sous chef. He's making his 15 if you're not paying starting out. The waitress is making more than he is, or she is.
But sometimes waitresses do make more than cooks during a good.
Yeah, they do.
Oh yeah.
They'll make it can be anywhere up to $100 an hour if you average it up.
Yeah.
But there's other successful restaurants that are small that have figured out the way to master it, and those are the people that we would look at. And there's accounting rules that force you, and people still will take advantage of it, that force you to be transparent with how you allocate the funds. So for us, because I always try to stay really honest with the staff, if the government mandates us to do that, then that's just what the system will be. It'll be done like the airport. So when you buy a plane ticket to travel for Christmas to Hawaii and prime time, it's going to cost you the most amount of money. So that's what's going to happen. We'll do it. Okay, you work on these shifts.
But now you have a whole other addition to your accounting stuff on top already now, managing all this tip money and how it gets allocated and tracking all that.
That's business. Every time there's a new rule that comes up,
there are gonna be some people who are gonna get burned tax-wise with that because they're not gonna pay it all out in December and they're like it's gonna roll over on the books. You're like, well, now the restaurant took that as revenue. You owe taxes on that, but you didn't pay it out, right? Yeah. They're gonna be small mom and pops who don't have the ability to do that are gonna be destroyed.
And that was the hardest part about the PPP at this time because you have a lot of mom and pops that were not doing the paperwork. They would wait until the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then when it came time to apply for the PPP, they're like
scrambling.
They're like, Mr. Accountant, I need this form. I need this.
Dude doesn't have a full-time accountant. That's why we have the benefit of my wife being our CFO. Does our monthly books and our daily. So when we were applying for these loans and stuff, is she had all the numbers ready to go. If we didn't have her, we would have been scrambling last minute to put them all together. We keep track, but not really great books like that where we have P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow statement every month. And yearlies to be able to go through and answer all their questions, it would have been hell. Mm-hmm. Having to wait for the account, try to get into our accountant.
Yeah, that's evolution. I look at it. I always say, as much as I hate the bullshit, I'm always taking a glass as half full type mentality, and you evolve. You just learn how to evolve and change, so that you can have a quality of life and have fun.
The only thing that sucks is it sometimes also creates barriers to entry for business too, for smaller mom and pop businesses. Mm-hmm. It's very tough to get in business, open a restaurant if you don't have an accountant on staff that can actually go through and so your initial startup costs are we got to have us who are doing all the labor, doing all the work, plus now we got to have an accountant on staff just to maintain all this shit to keep up with it because it's insane. So it creates barriers to entry, which I don't like. That if you want to get in, it's when they make a license $10,000 to get in business, So now the mom and pop can't do it because they have to have this license. They can't even operate unless they have $10,000 cash, and then it's $10,000 renewal. And then you don't need this license, you also need this certification. It stops barrier entry and stops new businesses from starting.
Yeah, and the local and state, they're getting better with the technology. So you're getting automatic reminders for to the renewal of your business name. You got to pay $75 a year. So you can just go right onto the website, type it in, boom, do the whole transaction. you're going to see all that stuff change and become better, and that's the evolution. Like, do you want to be that old dinosaur that still says, I don't like computers and I don't want to operate on
Right.
computers? You embrace computers, all of a sudden your life is that much, it's infinitely easier.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know, my wife she still yells at me about QuickBooks because I'm like, it's easy. No, it's not. I'm like, just sit in front of it, just keep clicking away at it, hit that little box that says ask questions here, and you'll learn, and then it just becomes part of your language, and it's just so much easier. You know, because some of my friends still don't embrace technology. They're like, no, I'm not going to do
Right,
this.
that's what I say. The dinosaurs go away because you have businesses that get computer friendly. They can move faster, service better. It's just like the restaurants who didn't have their menus online.
Mhm.
We didn't order from those because it was too much of a pain in the ass when the first COVID happened. It's like calling them up. They're to answer the phone. They're overwhelmed, understaffed right now.
Mhm.
When you do get, so you're like, but if you can go online, order it's there. Those are the businesses that jumped on board, survived.
We'll redo our website just to make it even that much easier next year.
Yep.
And we're never going to go back to printed menus. So we're going to go with those QR codes.
QR
I know, I do hate that. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm still old school. Like,
I know.
I like the menu. It's pretty quick. I gotta get my phone, scan the QR code, get it. We're scrolling. Do you want to scan it too? No, it's just use your phone when you're done.
Yeah. I mean, for
I
us,
get it. It makes it easier. It makes your guys' life easier.
because we could change the menu
Right. You change the menu the
Instantly,
same,
and
same
you don't have
day,
to-
right?
Yeah,
right there. You're out.
You have to
right.
Take
call
it
the
off.
printer, go get a printer, or print these and laminate them ourselves. Right. I get that.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to print.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's who does not have a smartphone?
Right.
You know?
Right. You can't be in this world without one now.
Exactly. You know?
Do you want to tell them where your restaurant's at, the name, and
Oh yeah.
just we haven't.
Oh, hi
You
guys.
gotta get a plug in.
My name is Bernie, the handsome lumberjack Marine.
Modest.
I own Craft Urban Restaurant in Geneva, 211 James Street. Come on down, come see us. We do ramen on the weekends, late night ramen. Because of COVID, late night is 5:30.
Is that Geritol time?
Yeah, it's true.
Make sure you give your website.
www.I'mAhandsomesonofabitch.com. No, it's www.
That's his fans only. That's for fans only.
Yes.
So you
and
guys
it's
out there,
50% discount on my OnlyFans. 99 cents for a month.
Ooh.
But
full frontal.
and rear. I got it bleached for Christmas.
Wow.
So it's crafturban.com is our website. We got one more week and then we'll be closed for 2 more. But we're a family friendly restaurant. Even though we talk like we're not family friendly, we are. We have a beautiful heated outdoor patio. And come on in. It's great local food. We're not pretentious. We want to have fun. The food represents that. We cover all the different flavors.
And the drinks help.
Yep, the drinks help.
Great drinks, but it's not just a burger. It's some kind of crafted, awesome burger that's amazing with some crazy recipe you don't think about, and then you taste it and you're like, oh my God, this is fantastic.
Yep, because we use local ground beef. Comes from Schlegel Farms. Right now we got lamb shepherd's pie on the menu.
Oh,
Because
nice.
it's cold. You want something.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cold. So,
Comfort food, man.
yeah, so we got shepherd's pie on there. We got our roasted pork shoulder that we cook in the smoker outside
Oh,
because it's cooked in the
it's
smoker.
already
Why
making
not?
me hungry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's like our nachos are always a little bit different. We got cheese
Mhm.
curds, because people don't like to necessarily eat meat. So we have our buffalo cauliflower.
That sounds awesome.
So it's, that buffalo, like buffalo hot wings.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Except-
cauliflower.
They're fried in a gluten-free batter
That sounds amazing.
with, there's a little butter in the sauce, so it's not vegan. Sorry.
Mm.
Don't
We
worry
do
about
brunch
that.
on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday. Great Bloody Marys, and we do awesome sticky buns. Sticky buns are a fancy name
Ooh.
for cinnamon rolls.
I thought that was the name of my pants. Sticky buns.
No, that's your
Yikes.
underwear.
Oh, underwear. Yeah.
Yikes.
That
You
was
guys
That's what I
have-
say, folks. Yikes.
Can I get some tea? Since we're speaking.
I don't know. You can't have tea.
tea.
Yeah.
Coffee.
You can get dirty water.
You can get coffee black and coffee
I
hot.
wanted you to take your big hairy Italian.
Oh, you want me to dip it in there? I can.
That's not that hairy Italian he was talking about.
So,
Anyways,
I could do that tea bag.
okay.
it's gone off the rails.
All right.
Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next week. Thank you to Bernie from Craft Urban for being here. Go
Thanks,
check them
guys.
out. Order some stuff. Go pick it up. Go hang out on their patio.
Yeah.
The food and drinks are amazing there. You'd
Come
be
get
impressed.
drunk. come and partake.
Come drink.
Partay, yes.
Anybody who wears assless chaps gets free shots all night.
Exactly.
But you must sit at the bar.
We do have short person wrestling. Sal He'll be your guest bartender,
Bernie will be there. We'll wrestle against each other.
and he'll win.
All right, that's all. We're done. We're gone. We're gone.
That went downhill really quick.
That makes it good.
Thanks for the coffee, guys.
Hey, anytime.
Now,
We had cheese curds last time we were there. They were fantastic.
awesome.